Hey everyone, welcome to another interview with Studio 56 Boutique. I'm here today with the lovely, the incredible Hugo Costa from
Hi, Brenda.
Spain. Welcome, Hugo. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm great. I'm great. It's really nice to talk with you and being interviewed by you. It's an honor.
Thank you. You're always so cheerful, big smile. So
I try to.
you
I try.
are. You are.
Yeah. I think it's because I sketch a lot, you know.
I know. It's very relaxing. Okay, we're going to get into that. First of all, just let people know, if you don't know Hugo, Hugo is an architecture prof working in Valencia, Spain. He is from Portugal and he speaks perfect English. And Hugo has taught at Urban Sketcher Symposiums in Porto. Tell me if I'm missing any. Barcelona, Amsterdam. He's also taught at Clermont-Ferrand. And have I missed any Urban Sketcher Symposiums?
In Chicago.
And Chicago.
But not Barcelona. Not Barcelona.
Okay.
Anyway, I've been teaching from Chicago to Tokyo. All over the world, literally, like in Europe, I don't know, from the north to the south, or from Lithuania to Portugal. So yeah, I do like, I don't know, 10 workshops, 10 urban sketching workshops a year, maybe, or maybe more. I'm not, I don't know, I'm not sure. I just did one this morning. So here
did
in
you?
Valencia.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
He is prolific, and I ran into him in this summer in New York on the street in New York City, and there he was. I'm like, Hugo, you're everywhere.
Yeah, I've been traveling a lot this year. I'm a little bit tired. I got like 19 planes in 2 months, something like that.
Yeah. So you do actually have a home, right?
Yes, I live in Valencia, although I was born in Porto, in the beautiful
Well, I see
Valencia.
plants behind you, so I just want to make sure you were not like under a bridge or something.
No.
All right. Well, we're going to get started. So Hugo's going to talk about our theme is a fresh drawing every day. And Hugo, why don't you talk about your journey and tell us why you think a fresh drawing every day is important?
Well, this fresh drawing every day started a little bit by coincidence in a classroom. I was teaching, and that particular day I was particularly unhappy with my students. I was mad with them because the results were not good, or not being good. So I told them that they should sketch every day to get good results, because the only way on learning to learn draw is to draw. There is no other way. And their reaction was like, "Are you crazy? That's impossible to sketch every day. It's impossible. Nobody can do that." And instinctively, I told them, "Okay, so I will do it for you. I will do it from now, and I will upload my drawings on a blog, and so you can see it is possible." And the idea was that they would also participate on the blog, but basically that was the point. And that sentence changed my life totally. No, because since I started sketching every day, that was me that started improving. And when you do something with passion and you work on that passion, things start coming and doors starts open, and when one door opens, another door opens, and you know, I'm here, you are talking, I'm having this privilege to be talking with you because of that sentence, for sure, because otherwise I would not be here, as an example, you know. So that sentence that was kind of instinctive on that moment opened a lot of doors to me. A lot. So now I'm working. I'm not only sketching, doing urban sketching or teaching or architecture. Now I'm working on storyboards. I'm working on documentaries. I'm traveling all around the world doing courses. So it's incredible how this language that drawing is, that is so empathic, and this universal language that everybody understands. So it suddenly it starts like opening all these doors.
Well, that is very inspirational. It really
Mm.
is. I think maybe times have changed a lot too, because when I was a kid, I didn't know anybody who drew, nobody at all, no one.
Mm.
And so I
Mhm.
loved to draw, and I think people thought I was like a little touched in the head.
Mhm.
Oh, she likes to draw. But there were no adult artists in my life at all.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it was just like this weird thing that I like to do.
Mhm.
But it's interesting. I think times have changed.
Yes, I was I was interviewed last month in Lithuania, and they asked me if I regret anything of these last years, and I didn't quite know what to answer. And but what came to my mind was, yeah, I regret not having started before.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
if I would be 18 or 15 now, I would be sketching every day. You know, since back then. You know,
Yeah.
because it's amazing. It's amazing how everything that drawing can give you. You know, a part of those memories that it gives you. You know, I started sketching more when I get to go to in the architectural school, and when I did my first Erasmus trip. Erasmus trip, no, my Erasmus stay, and I was
Okay.
living in
Sorry.
Paris.
What was that, Hugo? Your first
My
what?
Erasmus. Oh, you don't know what an Erasmus is. Erasmus is when you are studying at university in Europe. You can apply and study in another university in Europe. So
Oh, okay.
so you change, you know. So my fifth year, I didn't do it in Porto. I went to Paris when I was in the fifth year, and then that was there that I started sketching a little bit more, and it's so moving. When the other day I saw the notebook I had when I was in Paris, and it was only like 20 drawings, and now I think, how can I only do 20 drawings in 1 year in Paris, you know? But all those 20 drawings are so moving. Now when I see them, so many memories that come to my mind, you know. That's why I regret not having started before and doing more sketches, you know,
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you know what? I lived in Korea for 4 years, and can you imagine in 4 years I didn't sketch? But I had babies. I had newborn babies, so I couldn't. But Korea, Seoul, with all the old buildings, Tongdaemun and Songdaemun, with these the roofs like that, and the very
Mhm.
old style temples, and I said, wow, it would have been
Mhm.
so fun to sketch that, but my hands were full. So we have a
I know.
question. Somebody is asking you, do you try to start and finish a drawing in one sitting?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Do you try to start and finish a drawing all at one time in one?
Sure. Sure. If I start a drawing and finish in one time, yeah, that I try to do it every time. Yeah, but sometimes that's a good question, because the thing is, it's hard. It's not hard to do a sketch a day. You can do 5 minute sketches. It's really easy. It's just sometimes I remember, okay, I didn't sketch today, so I just sketch my son. You know, can I sketch you? So I do a 5 minute doodle. It's done. The thing is to do like the thing is we get more and more and more demanding, and we start from 5 minute sketch, and then we start doing 30 minute sketch, and then 1 hour sketches, and 5 hour sketches, and then that's really hard to make 5 hour sketches every day. So sometimes what I do now is like I start one drawing in one day, and I finish that drawing on the next day.
Oh,
You know?
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So I do like these panoramas where I do half of it one day, and then the next day, that like I was doing in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered the question, but yeah, if I can't finish on the same day, it's much better. It's much better because you are in the mood of the drawing, the atmosphere, everything, and you lose if you stop it, you kind of lose the energy. Okay, but on the other hand, when you go there on the next day and you have half of the drawing done, it's also kind of motivating because okay, half of the drawing is already done. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, let's have a look at your drawings. I'm gonna turn off our cameras and
Mhm.
we will turn on we will share my screen and have a look at the drawings here. And if you guys have any questions for Hugo, you can just type them in the Q&A box and I'm going to be looking for them. All right, Hugo, so here's our first sketch. And where was this one done?
That one was in Saint-Céré in Dordogne, where I was invited to artistic residency. We say that artistic stay. Well, I don't know the name in English. Résidence artistique.
Okay.
So it was 1 week. I was there 1 week. I gave 2 or 3 workshops and I did an exhibition there. So it was amazing because it was this little town, really, really beautiful town in the center of France. And yeah, this sketch was, I tried to put like different kinds of sketches. And this one, what it recalls me is that here I started like going back to small sketchbooks and
Yeah.
and realizing how important and uh, how 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 satisfying they can be. There was a moment when I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And here on this moment I start using again the little moleskin, because I started realizing that my favorite sketchbooks in fact are those really, really, really small, no? And going back to the minimal materials, minimal gear, just a pen and the sketchbook. And in that little sketchbook you can do as much as in a big paper. Of course you have to compensate that using thin line, and doing the hashes with the same ink. Anyway, that's the one of my favorite sketchbooks, and it's always on my pocket. That's the thing. No, this little sketchbook, it's always in my pocket. I can go home, I can go out and forget my wallet, but I never forget my little sketchbook.
Wow, that's so cool. And so I think what you just touched on that is really important, is always the smaller the sketchbook, the finer the line you have to use, generally speaking, right?
Yes, here I'm using the Lamy extra fine.
Yeah. Is
Yes.
that a fountain pen?
Sorry?
Is that a fountain pen?
Yeah, it's a fountain pen. It's a fountain pen with a blue ink, the Lamy ink and Lamy pen.
So Celeste is asking, is this done in water soluble ink?
Yes, it's done in water. It's done in water soluble ink. Yes, because I don't advise you to put waterproof ink in such a thinner nib. Usually it doesn't work very well.
Okay.
So with the extra fine, I only use the water soluble ink.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I did the hatches with some pro marker.
Okay.
And a little white on the top. That's why to give that kind of glaze.
Right. So we have a little comment here from Elton, who says, he says, I've done a sketch every day for several years. And what I came to realize is these sketches become a diary of my life and times. And some are time consuming, some are not, but each one reflects my day. That's
Yes, yes, that's exactly what my thought. Yeah. When people ask me what have you done on that day, I go and check my Instagram. So on that day I was here, on that day I was there. And on the blog is even better because I can look I can search by words, So I don't. Last time I went to the States they ask me, so what was the first time you have been here? So instead of going to my agenda, I go to my blog and I Google New York, and I see when and where I was on that year. Yes, that's the diary. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And what I do, I scan every sketch and I upload, and I keep it on different folders for each year. So I have all my drawings that I did in 1999, in January 1999. So I can find what I did in every day of every year from my last 13 years.
Wow. 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 Do you have a book,
Mhm.
Hugo?
Yes, I have two books. I have one. I think I have them here.
So you know what? Let's show your book. You can
Yes.
hold up your book at the end.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have one book about New York, and that drawing is on that book. So when I was teaching there at Parsons for one semester, I proposed myself to make a diary of those 6 months, and but also a part of that, not doing like doing my travel in the city, my commuting in the city on a bicycle. So it would be like New York City scene as someone who rides a bicycle. So every commuting I would done would be done in a bicycle. And the other thing was sketching the 6 different boroughs, no, because people go to New York and they only go to Manhattan. Now
Right.
they are starting to go a little bit to Brooklyn, but like 10 years ago, people only went mainly tourists. Now they go to Manhattan and they say, I saw everything in New York. And I asked them, so, but did you go to Staten Island? Did you go to Bronx? No. Did you go to Queens? Oh, no. So you didn't see New York. You saw a little part of New York. And then I realized that if I'm going to be in New York for 6 months, so I want to visit all the different boroughs and draw them.
Yeah. Cool. And this is New York City here as well, Soho.
Yeah, that's Soho. Yeah, that was done in winter time at one morning in Soho. And this drawing is special because it was chosen in a festival in Italy that is called Matita in Viaggio. So I won the prize that year. So they did the poster of the festival with this image. So it was so exciting. So going to Mestre, that is next to Venice, and see like my poster all around the city in a big dimension. And that was kind of a little bit of a breakthrough moment, like having so much exposure on that festival.
Yeah.
Opened many more doors to other festivals like Clermont-Ferrand the next
Cool.
year.
Yeah. And this one is done using which materials?
This is the Uniball pen, that is a rollerball pen and watercolor in watercolor paper.
Right.
Yeah, I remember I was cycling there and I saw this image, like this amazing contrast and these colors, and I thought I have to record this, and now what I'm doing now is I'm repeating the same book, but doing the same sketches like 5 years after. So because New York changes so much.
Yeah.
So I was this year trying to do the same sketch, but it was impossible because there were works all over the street.
Oh.
But it's interesting already because the building that you see on the background, it is a famous building now in New York. It was on construction on that time. You can see the
crane.
the crane, yeah, and now it's already done. So yeah. New York is really exciting because it changes every year, every month almost.
Right. Cool. And I have a comment here from Kate who says she also scans her sketches and and she files them and she uses her blog to search for things when things happened.
Yeah, the blog is really good for that. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm glad that I'm not the only one who does that. The thing is with Instagram, it's kind of hard to find the drawing you want to find. If you have 2,000, I think I have almost 2,500 drawings on Instagram. But on the blog, it's really nice because you can search them by word, like New York
Yeah,
or Greek
the
or
title.
whatever.
And what is your Instagram? It's Yola Hugo, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it's Yellow Hugo. People ask me a lot why Yellow Hugo, and it's just because I love a band that is called Yola Tango. And when I was creating that name, I thought I don't care because nobody. I will only have like 50 friends that will see my account, so I don't care about the name. And finally, I have a little bit more than 50 followers.
Oh, I think you have a bit more than that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is his if you want to look him up on Instagram, it's Yola Hugo, YOLAHUGO. And where are we here, Hugo?
Here we are like melting down in Athens. It was
Okay.
last year, it was like 46 degrees or something like that. It was one of the worst heat waves in Athens on the last years. So I was on my hotel and I wanted to transmit like this sensation, like this sensation of the light was so strong, so I played a lot with this contrast, like the warm and warm colors and a lot of whites, and even the I left the the sky in white because the sky was so bright, so powerful. That's why I left in, and I did it really kind of fast way. No, but mainly I wanted like to represent this heat feeling, and
Yes.
also one thing that I love in Athens, and that's the thing that I like to sketch mainly rooftops. So
Yes.
I had a rooftop that was perfect, and if the rooftops are like this with a lot of different information, different corners, different with little things that are really different, that are not monotonous.
Yeah.
So complex compositions. That's what I love. I love to
Yeah.
sketch.
I love rooftops as well. So Mimi is asking, how long does it take you to do the sketches that you're showing us?
This one I took like 1 hour.
About an hour.
1 hour. The one in New York. Usually I write it down on the top of the sketch. I don't know if we can see it here, but
Oh, yeah.
I recall that here it was 1 hour. The one before maybe 1 hour and a little bit more. And not so much time because it was so cold on winter time in New York. People say your New York drawings are really fresh, and I say, of course they are fresh because it was so cold. I had to do them really fast.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes I take 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to do a sketch.
Wow. Wow. Cool. And Lydia, hi Lydia. Lydia is asking, what's the average time you spend on sketching every day?
The average time I spend sketching, that's I think like 2 hours. 2 hours. For me, it's not so hard because as I teach 3 times a week when I'm teaching, and I have this rule that everything I ask my students, I also sketch it.
Yeah.
So every time I teach, I sketch. So it's not hard for me to sketch every day. Of course, I could be like passive, like a lot of teachers, and just say to their students, "So do that," and not give the example. But I always do the example. And the thing is, sometimes I don't have time to sketch on the class because I'm correcting them and explaining them. And on those days, I stay a little bit more and I finish it after, But yeah, in average 2 hours. But I would say that sometimes, as I told you, sometimes I take 5 minutes, and sometimes I can be 8 hours sketching. So it's really hard to find the average.
And where is this sketch? Where was this sketch done?
This sketch was in Colombia. So I really like the how it came out. I'm only showing my best sketches, because to show 18 good sketches, you have a lot of bad sketches, no?
I think all your sketches are going to be good, Hugo.
Yeah. No, in fact, this one was done in a live session with David Morales. So
Okay.
this is the only one that is not urban sketching. Okay, from the ones that are here, because this one was done on the pandemic, when we were all doing these lives, and it was really interesting how people like change our habits now but kept on on one hand we all kept on sketching. It was really nice how we met so many people with these lives, and this was done in so this is a view from his father, from David Morales. Is Dava22 is Instagram. Is an amazing sketcher. So this was done from from a picture that he did from his parents' apartment in Colombia. And here I kind of struggle when I use color, I must admit, because I'm an architect. So my teacher, when I was at the architectural school, told us, no, we don't use color. We leave the colors for the artists. Architects only use line. So in my first like 10, 15 years, I never used color. And then when I moved to Rome, I also was teaching in La Sapienza in Rome for one semester as a visiting scholar. And then when I was in Rome, I thought, how can it, like being in Rome and not using color, it's like sacrilege,
Yeah.
So I started struggling with color. So I started hanging out with the Rome urban sketchers, and some of them were really, really good with color, So I started looking on over his shoulders to see what they did, and I did a lot of mistakes, and like on I don't know, on my fifth color drawing, there was a click, something felt a little bit less bad, and that was it. I learned like repeating learning with the Roman urban sketchers that I appreciate, and that's one of the things that I really like on this community. That we learn all one from the others, and now I'm a little bit more confident with watercolor, but it's not a talent. It's like I've learned this method, and I practice this method. There is no talent. I think it's a lot of experience and training and doing a lot of mistakes. Well,
there's somebody here said, thank you, Hugo, for being both a teacher and a student, because teaching without demonstrating, in my opinion, robs the student. This is a visual endeavor after all. Isn't that a great comment? Thank you.
Yes, thanks so much. Thank you so much. I think my students appreciate it, and it's a shame that a lot of drawing teachers, in fact, don't draw. When I came to my university, we do this drawing trip where 400 students go in a bus and go to a building outside Valencia, and like we do like 6 hours drive to go to and see an important building, and we go there. And when I was a freshman, like teaching, my first year teaching, nobody sketched. Not the students didn't sketch, the teachers didn't sketch, and I was wondering how can this be a drawing trip and nobody sketches.
That's weird.
I start sketching, and then the next year the students also start sketching, and then on the third year I got all the students to make like this big sketching meeting, and it was so exciting. Everybody loved it, and now everything changed. Now some of the teachers already sketch, and but the majority of the students started sketching, you know. So yeah, I think it's beautiful. And one thing that I say is that I didn't learn a lot from my teachers because they didn't teach me, and I don't want to be like that. So what I do with my students is I'm really demanding with them, but on the other hand, I try to teach them everything I learned on these 15 years, and I struggle for that, you know. And the best way of understanding their problems is putting myself under his hands now and sketch the same things I ask them, and by that I learned a lot. Maybe I learned maybe more than them, you know. So
Yeah,
I
you learn
also
from
I
each.
also have to thank them. Yeah, I also have to thank them. So this is a drawing done at university with my students. This is a building at university, and what I like about this, what I wanted here to transmit with this sketch was the importance of seeing, and the sketch as a way of seeing and a way of learning how to see. And I think a lot of you have this feeling, no? When you start sketching, there are kind of layers that start opening. The more you look, the more you see.
Mhm.
And we cross the same street for the last. There are some streets I crossed for the last 20 years, and before starting sketching a lot, I just saw outlines. And now I start seeing not only the outlines. I start seeing shadows. I start seeing colors, and then I say, oh, there is this reflection there that is really interesting that I've never seen, because you when you sketch a lot, you get your brain to work. You know, your brain is really lazy, and but if you make your brain work and look at things, you know, things start coming up, and there are those layers that go and that start opening. And in this sketch, and as an example, the most interesting thing is the reflection on the windows. You know,
Yeah.
when we start sketching, we tend to paint a window like in black. And then I tell my students, but there is so many magical things on that window, you
Yeah.
know, that just try to look at them, and then my students say, oh, that's right. So there's that little rectangle and that part there, you know. But when we start, we tend to make like the windows in with black, and in fact usually the windows are not black, are white, and what is black is what is on the back of the windows, you know what I mean? Like you can see on this drawing, you know. So there is this Spanish philosopher that says, when you sketch, the life is more beautiful, just because you look at things more and you see things that you would not see if you would not sketch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's that. I think we are really lucky, because for us, life is more beautiful.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Hugo.
and one thing that also I want to point out on this sketch is like the things that are not painted, that sometimes are much more beautiful than the things that are painted. You know, I like to leave these suggestions. No, not to finish all the sketch and leave it breathe. Okay, and also the contrast between cold and warm colors. No, that I think is really important. Like that's wood, no, that is really warm, no, and the blue that is cold.
Right.
So yeah, it's also really important. It looks now it looks so simple, but it takes so much time. You start realizing that, no, that the colors are not just colors. They produce you feelings like warmth and cold, no?
Yeah, I don't think it looks simple at all. It looks very complex. And I think anybody who has struggles with perspective would look at this sketch and go, whoa. But, you know, we can see that this is mostly a 1-point perspective sketch, a bit of 2-point, and well, it's actually multi, but you know, it still seems very complicated and very sophisticated sketch, not a simple sketch at all, I would say.
I must admit that for me, Perspective is really simple because I've been teaching it like for 15 years, so I
Yeah.
don't struggle with that. And the thing with perspective is not so hard as it seems. You know, the thing what I try to teach people not only like the tricks, but not the tricks. So this is one, this is two, this is four. I try to teach my students to understand why we have one vanishing point, why we have two vanishing points, you know.
Yeah.
And the moment they start understanding why, it's not so hard. And one ironic thing, but because we basically we talk a lot on perspective on the architectural degree, but one thing that I say in the first class is perspective is totally false. It's not the way we see it. You know, it's like it's a set of rules that are set considering that we only have one eye, you know, when we have two eyes. So you know, it's a lie perspective, but on the other hand, I tell them that is the best way we found to represent space. There is no better way, I think.
Yeah.
But and then there are a lot of students that say to me, but I don't care about perspective. And I say to them, okay, you might not care about perspective, but it's nice to understand the rules and then doing with them whatever you want. And that's what I do. Sometimes I don't respect perspective rules, but if I want, I can do it. And if you have this confidence and play with the rules, you know, things don't look awkward, you know. And sometimes if you don't have this confidence, things look awkward. You know, that is the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think I personally, because I teach perspective myself, I think it's really important to be able to speak that language and to be able to have those tools where you can easily understand and see, you know, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, or multi-point perspective, and you can spot it. And if you can, then you can make your sketch. If you want to play with those perspectives, if you want to warp the building or bend the building or whatever, that's fine. You can still play with it. But if you're trying to make a straight up sketch and it's looking wonky, it's often because you've ignored the perspective in a way that looks accidental and not deliberate.
Yes, exactly.
So
and
we
then
have
when
a couple of questions here, Hugo. I'm going to just go to the next one because I want people to, this is really good. So Celeste is asking, is a ruler used on that last sketch or not?
Oh, no. When on my first course, I tell my students, when they ask me for the materials, I always start by the materials you cannot use. You cannot use rubber, you cannot use ruler, and you cannot use hard pencils. No, I don't never use ruler, never.
Okay, it looked like those are really straight lines.
Yeah, but that's and then my students. So how can I do straight lines? It's easier. Like it's practice. You know, when I was studying, my teacher asked me 300 sheets with vertical lines, 300 sheets with horizontal lines, 300 sheets with diagonal lines, and 300 sheets with crossing lines. You know, and there are some little techniques. You have to stand your hand really well. You know, that's a way of doing. You can use the border of your sketchbook to help, but it's mainly practice.
Yeah. And Anne is asking here, I can see, Hugo, that if you were my teacher, you were teaching, I would learn a lot in your class. I can just totally tell just by this conversation that you really love to teach and you really give everybody everything you got. I can tell. So Anne is asking, could you speak a bit about your perspective lines, vanishing point, and how you approach these buildings from a perspective point of view? Now, she was talking about the previous image, but I don't want to be on that image for too long. Are you able to talk about that with this image?
How do I approach the vanishing points? Okay, there are the two basic concepts in perspective is that all horizontal lines go to the same vanishing point, and that the forms, the lines, if you have a form or a rectangle or any form, one of the angles that is further away, apparently it's smaller. No.
Yep.
So what I do is I try to see where is the angle that is smaller, and so the vanishing point will go to that point.
Yeah.
And going a little bit back, when we look perpendicular to a building, for instance, we will have one vanishing point. So when our paper or our sketchbook is parallel to the building and our side view is perpendicular to that building, we will have one vanishing point. Okay, but from the moment our point of view tilts and rotates a little bit, we already have two vanishing points. Okay, because our side is no longer perpendicular to that side. Okay, and then going to three vanishing points. Then if we do that and we tilt our head diagonally up, we will have three vanishing points. And with going upwards, and if we do that going down, we will have three vanishing points going down. Okay. I don't know if it was that the question. I don't know if I'm being too meticulous.
Well, yeah, it's really hard to describe perspective without having saying particular, like there's your vanishing point and it's going off and all horizontal edges are going to be converging on that vanishing point.
And also one concept that is really clear is that the horizon line is on our eye level.
Yeah.
And the closer a line gets to your eye level, the more horizontal it gets.
Yeah.
And the further away it goes, the more inclined it gets. So you don't really need to have the vanishing points inside your sheet of paper to get the good vanishing points, the good line inclination.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to, so Studio 56 has some beginner perspective workshops there, and I've got a little booklet that's very cheap that you can get that shows you about vanishing points if you want more information about perspective. And I just have to say, oh, okay. Sandra is asking, where is the horizon line on that image? Well, the horizon line is going to be at your eye level. Oops, went too far. Going to be at your eye level, which I'll just point out is going to be there. Right, Hugo?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And also, Eileen is saying that she enjoyed your class in Amsterdam at the symposium from the top of the library above the Nemo Museum. Excellent workshop, bird's eye view.
Thank you so much. I don't remember you. Thank you.
And so here we are. Tell me about this sketch, Hugo.
So you don't want to talk about the last one? I think we passed one.
Did we? I'm
yes.
Sorry.
The one that you liked. Yes, that one. Okay, this one is, I will try to be fast. This one is totally different from the others because this is not urban sketching. This is the way I think on my projects, because I'm also an architect. So this is a house that I'm designing a house in a little village next to Porto. And this is how I think. Okay, so, and drawing for architects is this way. It's like, I don't know how can we design something without drawing. I really don't know.
No,
because what I do is every time I have an idea, I have to draw it on a paper. Yeah. And then there is this feedback. So the paper will give me more information to the brain, And so there is this dialogue between me and my sketchbook, And then after superposing so many ideas, we start getting to an idea. But it's so direct and so simple and so dynamic. That I think that's why I'm thinking I cannot imagine another way of thinking on a project.
Yeah. These are really exciting. I would love to see the actual building.
Thank you.
Super fun. And so somebody is asking, Hugo, do you recommend taking a drawing class in architecture to get the structure right, or is it just practice?
If I don't understand, if I recommend having an architect.
I'll say it again. Do you recommend taking a drawing class in architecture to get this structure right, or is it just practice?
Sure, of course. Yes, I do recommend, of course.
I don't know if it's possible to take a drawing class in architecture. Generally, you have to be accepted into the program. I think.
No, yeah, if you are an architect, but I think, I don't know, maybe in the United States you can do that, in the summer camps, maybe.
You
You
can't
know?
do it in Canada. I don't think so. I
I
don't
don't
know
know,
about
but
the States.
I was thinking that the people that asked that was thinking on all that they are on the architectural school. If you are an architect, you should take drawing courses, of course. They
Oh,
help
yeah,
you a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And you can always take a course with an architecture professor like Hugo
Yeah.
at a
Or
symposium.
Stephanie Bauer, that is amazing. No?
Yes, she is. She's lovely. Um,
Hmm.
what? Tell me about this sketch, Hugo.
Yeah, I told you that there was only one that was not urban sketching. I forgot that there are a lot that are not urban sketching. This is a storyboard that I'm doing. I told you before that when you do things with passion, things came to come out. And one of the opportunities I've been having these last years is to work with a film director that is called Jeremiah Zagar, and we do these storyboards for movies. And I I didn't know I didn't know quite well what a storyboard was. I kind of knew, but I didn't know it was so important, you know. So and people ask me a lot. So what is the storyboard for? Is that why do they do it? And when I was working with Jeremiah, this film director, so I always tell this. So he had like all these ideas on his head, you know,
Yeah,
to make these movies, but he could not express those ideas because he could not express them visually, you know. So and you know that when you talk, things get lost, you know. But in a drawing, the things are totally there, you know. So what the storyboard serves mainly, so the director can express visually his
yeah,
ideas about the movie. So and I like to work with him. There are some storyboard artists that only work with the script, but I always work with him by my side. And so it tells me, I read the script, it tells me his ideas, and I sketch them. And I remember one day that we start putting all the images on the wall on his office, and he started looking at the images and he started crying. And he told me, "Oh, Hugo, I'm finally seeing my movie," you know, and so it is so moving, you know. So he could
wow,
finally see his movie, and
yeah,
then all these images are used to everybody that works in the movie, you know,
yeah.
like to the special effects,
Communicates the vision.
the art director. I remember talking with the art director, and she told me, so it was so easy on this movie to 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 um, refurbish the house the way the director wanted, because it was all there on the paper. We just had to copy it. And
Yeah,
usually they tell us, they explain us, we do it, we lose a lot of time and money, and then they get there and they change everything because it's not like this, you know. So that's the power of drawing, you know, the power of communication.
as a tool, communication tool. Yeah, it's so true. So cool. Thanks for sharing that, Hugo.
Mhm.
Somebody's asking, are these sketches direct watercolor? Is there pencil line in there?
Yeah, those are pencil and watercolor.
Okay.
A part of them are direct watercolor, but um, the the big part are pencil and watercolor.
Okay. And Sandra mentions that Liz Steele offers the course in architecture, and Kate mentions that Frank Ching
Yeah, that's
has been teaching in Europe. So that's some good information.
yeah. Frank Shing is one of the masters. I was lucky to interview him and sketching with him, and he's such a nice, humble guy.
He
Humble,
is, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Mhm,
great. I think I interviewed him as well for Urban Sketchers. So where are we
mhm.
here, Hugo?
So here we are at the site where that house that I told you is going to be built.
Uh-huh.
So when I do a project, what I do is I go there. So I tell the clients, wait until I can get there and sketch. So I always sketch the site, and that's the best way of understanding the site. You know, so
Yeah,
this is so all these houses will be refurbished.
yeah,
And here now I'm using a lot of this technique, now this this hatching technique.
Yeah.
And it's incredible how with only this a pen you can give so much values,
Yes.
you know, and how important this simple technique is to reach, for instance, to watercolor. You know, a lot of watercolor concepts can be done with this hatching technique, you know, like save the whites, you know, in fact, the concepts are the same, no? Save the whites, no, don't paint the whites. What is the thing I will not hatch, that I will leave on white? So that's the same approach I have in watercolor. What are the contrasts? I'm always looking for the contrasts, where I have this negative and positive elements, like on the handrail on the right, for instance. Yeah.
You know, the thing I find really interesting is that if a person is really good at hatching, that the hatching is people are able to read the sketch and know this is shadow, not texture. Do you know what I mean? Because I think sometimes when you're just using straight lines, it could look like, you know, say here you've got some straight lines going up and down. You don't know, is that shadow? Is that siding or wooden panels or whatever it is? But somehow and maybe that's not even important. But I noticed that with people who are really good at hatching, you can tell that this is shadow, not texture.
Sure. Yeah, you got the point also, because my main issues now when I draw are shadow values and textures. Yeah, that's what I love to represent.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, if do you teach a hatching?
No, I don't. In fact, I don't really teach what like urban sketching. You know, what we basically we teach the drawing tools in the beginning. So like how can they at university? So the first semester is we teach them the tools, and on the second, and like perspective and line value and construction. And then on the second part of the course is like analyzing architectural using their tools. We give them architectural concepts that they have to use using drawing tools. But we don't talk. I'm now trying to push a little bit forward and start talking on color, on hatching, but but the other teachers don't really like it. But yeah, I'm trying to push a little bit forward, and at least on the last month, trying to give them some hints about that, so they can be inspired and go on later.
Yeah. And this is, I'm guessing, Morocco.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yes. You're right. Yeah.
And
So I struggle
with watercolor.
Yeah, I struggle so much with watercolor. But anyway, I think the one of breakthrough moment in what that I understood is that in watercolor you should not like paint every little square or every little part of your, because when I think when we start, I think everybody does like that. When we start painting with watercolor, we tend to go a little bit by a little bit. No, like we were coloring like a kid book. No, so we'll paint this little bit with this color. Now this little bit with this color. Now, and then I think we all start realizing that in fact watercolor is like a big shadow. No, a big a big wash. No. Yeah, I think no. So here I try to do like a big wash. Yeah. And then at the end you give this little contrast that is kind of the same thing as hatching, you know. And the other thing you have to understand with watercolor is the magic of it is like that colors blend, no? Yeah. And then when you have a red and a yellow in the middle of them, you have something on the middle, no, some medium value, no, because colors reflect one with the others. And then learn how to see the contrasts, no, the shadows, to defend the white. Don't paint the white, no, to defend this contrast, and always look for the contrast between negative and positive space. Yeah. And this is the typical exercise we do at university.
Yeah.
Like, of course, here I told you I try to go a little bit forward, and I don't ask my students to do so many hatching and textures. No, but anyway, the thing I always try to push some of them to start doing it, and then if the others see they can also do it. But here, if you see, there are also these concepts, like negative, positive, etching. But basically, the thing here is that that I want them to understand it, to really understand the perspective, the relationship between all the elements, the proportions, the line value, and that the thing that I really stress is that we understand the process of the drawing. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why I don't erase. I never use pencil before using pen. I use either pencil or either pen. I never mix them, because I tell my students the most beautiful part of the drawings are the mistakes, because the mistakes give you the process.
Yeah.
So if you see if you see this process, I think it's the most beautiful part of the sketch. This process, and this was an urban sketchers meeting in Porto. Porto is amazing. It's to sketch, so this is the kind of things that I really like to sketch. These awkward perspectives with these slopey streets and these amazing colors and textures. And on the foreground there is Paulo Mendes, that is one of the best sketchers in Portugal.
Which one? Who is it?
Paulo Mendes.
Oh, cool.
Paulo Mendes.
So this would be awkward to sketch because you have because of the way it reads, because you don't have a 90-degree angles on the corners.
Right? Yeah, and the streets are totally, nothing is parallel to nothing here.
Exactly, yeah.
You cannot really find vanishing points, and of course it's kind of exaggerated the perspective. You can I told you before, in perspective you are expected to see only by one eye. You have to cover the other, and only like a 30 degrees radian,
Yeah.
So here it's much more wider. It's kind of a fish eye.
Yeah.
That is much more, and I like here like the shadows on the right,
Oh yeah.
And this kind of balance between like this kind of almost empty space and the focus point that is on the left,
yeah.
So
it's great. This is super fun. I love this one a lot. I love the color because I really love color. I'm not so crazy with black and white, but I love the color. I love that you like cleaned your brush over here.
Yeah, that's what I test my colors, and that gives me like a hint, or they tell me if it was hard or not to find the colors. When I don't have a lot of those things, it was an easy sketch or an easy painting. When I have a lot of them, it means that I struggle a lot to find the colors.
I love this, the cracks and the peeling patina and the brickwork and all that. I love the sketch really a lot. So cool. So Eileen says, I loved Porto. Yes, Eileen, we loved it too. And Sis Trier is saying, please explain the one-eyed way to see perspective again.
Oh, it's kind of hard, like explaining verbally, but theoretically, perspective, because if we see it with, if you are looking with two eyes, you kind of see the world like curved,
Yeah.
Because your eyes have two different side views, like side lines that go to the object, but if you go deep in the perspective concept, to be the most the perspective concept says that you only see by one eye, okay? Because if you see one with two eyes, you kind of see already the world in a different way, okay? the perspective is thought being done with only one eye and only seeing in a 30 angle degrees radius. Okay, because if you started look if your eyes start looking a little bit further than 30 degrees, things start to get distortions, you know, and that would be kind of a fisheye already, you know.
Yeah.
So in order to not have a distortion, you should only look by one eye and only 30 degrees. I think the best example is the camera lens. You know, if you use a 28mm lens, like the ones on the mobile phone, you'll see a distortion. Okay. But if you use a 50mm lens, you won't see distortions at all. Okay. That's kind of thing the most visual image I can give you.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain it without a drawing. I'm used to explain it with drawing, you know, with a drawing.
Yeah, I think, you know, you can't explain this unless you're like after sketching and you're sitting down in a bar with a beer, and then you can shoot the breeze and really explain it. I think that's the only way, Hugo. So
this is a good example. Like I was looking at a train, and if I would not want to see distortion, I would only see 1/3 of this drawing, you know. But this drawing is done like moving my head like from left to right, you know. So I start doing it on the left, and then I tilted my head to the right, okay, and I did another perspective, okay. So it's kind of two different perspectives in the same drawing that are joined together with a curve. Okay, yeah. This is the fish. In fact, the fish eye is not so hard. It's doing like, it's looking to the left and doing a drawing, and then looking to the right and doing another drawing, and then get those two different drawings together with a curve. You know, I think you've really challenged everybody right now. Trying to figure out how could this happen. Can we go back, because this has a and this train drawing. In fact, I wanted to sketch the background of the train. You know, I started sketching the background of the train where there are some really nice houses. This is in Porto, but there was a train that kept on passing and passing by and passing by. Not only one, but the one also in the mid-ground, and the one there are 3 or 4 trains there. So what I did like finally I did the train in transparency, not one but 2 trains in transparency, in order to transmit these movements of the trains that were arriving and going out, getting in and getting out. You know, so what I really like on this sketch finally is that thing that in the end it was really annoying, because the train was in front of me and I was trying to sketch the houses that were on the background. But those things that happen on while you are sketching, finally they are the best things that can happen. The drawing now is much more interesting because I had these issues, no, and I think I can transmit that movement. And at the end, I thought, so finally I'm not going to stress the houses on the background. I'm going to stress the train that is on the foreground. That's why I painted it a little bit, no, to give it more importance to the train. And you know what, you really did capture that very well, because if you're staring straight across at something and a train goes flying by between you and the thing you're looking at, you'll still be able to see the thing you're looking at because of the spaces between each car. Every now and then it'll just flash. It'll just flash and you'll see it, and you'll still be able to see it, almost as if the train, you know, going in front of you is transparent. And so you caught what's on the other side very well, right through here. You can see that. And also it looks like you caught another train on a different track that's farther away. So I think this is actually your magic sketch, Hugo. Yeah, those things that you think that are not going to help you with the drawing, finally sometimes they are the best part of the drawing. Yeah, I think you got a lot of magic in this drawing here.
Oh, Hugo, Hugo, Hugo.
yes. So
How long did it take to do this one? That's my question.
that is, it has how many, how can I say, in inches? This drawing is, the height is 20, no, it's 42 centimeters. And the length is 1 meter and 40, more or less. You know, I don't know how is it
Wow.
in inches, but it will be like,
That's like 4 feet long.
yeah, a little bit, yeah, kind of, a little bit, yeah, kind of 4 feet long, yeah.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
so do you remember I told you that I started struggling? I wanted to do bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger sketches, and someone asked me how much time would I take to draw the drawing of the day, and then I was starting realizing that I was taking 4, 5, 6 hours to do the drawing of the day.
Yeah.
And then I got this methodology that is, okay, I will do a part of the sketch in 2 hours, and then I will come back the next day and I'll do another part of the sketch. And in fact, these are 4 different drawings done in different days.
Yeah.
You know. So what I do, I started in the center, and then with a vertical sheet, and then I put another the sheet on the left, and I follow, and then I said, okay, I will do another one, and then I did another one, and then I got another one on the right, and I did the one on the right, and it's, I don't know if you can see it, but on these days, they were changing the lamps on the city, and there is one lamp on the right, that half of it is the new lamp, and the right part of it is the new lamp, and the left part is the old lamp, because from one day to the other they changed the lamp, you know.
I think
So
only you would be able to spot that, because I'm not sure where to even look. But I
yeah,
do notice that here's the division of the four sheets. There's the
yes,
first one.
yeah, that's where the lamp
The second
is.
one
Yeah.
is here. There's the division, and then there's the third one, and then this is the fourth one. And I also love these little, each one has a little dot of red, I notice. It's like, oh, Hugo, my gosh, you're amazing. There's the dot there.
People ask me why I put the red, and it's like, I never thought, so I will put a red on every sketch I do. But I remember I started painting the red because, you know, when you are sketching and you have like this red sign in front of you, and it is looking at you, and it is red, really strong red, you know, and you think, I have to paint it, it's so strong, I'm lying if I don't paint it, you know. So and then I realized that red and black get really well. Of course, all designers do know that, you know, even the Japanese and the Germans use them on their army logos, you know. You know, red and white always get better. But the thing is that if you put too much, it doesn't work anymore. You know, you have to be subtle when you use these little spots. You know, the thing I like more on this sketch is the right part. You know, all those windows.
Yeah.
You know, the reflections on the windows, and how you can see different layers and the depth on the windows, you know. And yeah, that's what I like.
I love every part of that sketch. That's amazing.
This drawing won a really important prize in the States.
Really? Wow. So did you send just the raw sketch for winning that prize, or did you have to frame it?
No, I just sent it digitally.
Okay. And you included all these dabs of paint?
No, not this one, the black and white one.
Oh, I see. I'm not surprised. That is an amazing sketch.
Thank you.
Cool.
And this is one of the most important buildings in Valencia, the modern building. And the thing here, this was a commission for a poster, and they asked, and of course I always draw everything that I have in front of me. So there were cars here, so I would sketch the cars, but they asked me, no, please don't sketch the cars. So I didn't sketch the cars. But the thing here is that I think it's more or less reached, is more or less achieved. It's like the difference between warm and
Cool. Yeah.
warm and cold colors, you know, and the different blends. And I was lucky how the watercolors on, because this is, you know, like these little tiles on the top of the building, you know, on this triangle. You have these little tiles with beautiful drawings, flower drawings and people. And the thing is how to transmit it without drawing them, you know.
Yes.
So I did this blend. I blended the colors, and they suggest those forms without copying them, you know. And that was, I was really lucky on this one.
I like it a lot. That's super cool. I love, and I just really love these splashes of color around the outside. It's beautiful.
Okay, and this is Porto. This one is one of my favorite sketches. And here, what I usually talk about this is how paper can be important, no? From thinking what do you want to achieve when you do watercolor. And this is a Bristol paper that is not absorbent at all, you know. Okay. So when I want to have this really strong color, I use this Bristol paper that we all know is not watercolor paper, you know. But on the other hand, it allows you to have this really powerful color without using too much ink, you know. So this is one advice that I give to someone with starting watercolor. Don't go to really good watercolor paper, because that will force you to have really good technique, you know, to use a lot of pigment, a lot of water, you know. And with this paper, not using too much color and too much pigment, you can still have like powerful colors, you know, because it's not absorbent. And the thing is really great to sketch, you know, because the problem with paper is the better they are for watercolor, the worse they are to sketch, you know. We always have I always have this struggle. So I want a good paper to sketch, and a good paper for watercolor, and it's really hard to find one that is in the middle. And this one is Strathmore Bristol paper that has a little bit of texture, and it's perfect for line and for watercolor. Okay, and of course here the contrast, the whites that are being defended. And this was done in New York like 1 month ago. So here I was working on the storyboard, so I only had like 1 hour a day for urban sketching. And what I did was I downsized it. You know, I started using the little sketchbooks, so I could do faster sketches. And I was on my bicycle and I saw this corner and I said, oh my God, these colors are amazing. I have to sketch it.
With the sunset, where the way the sun is setting and warming up all the bricks and colors and everything. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, and this is one neighborhood in New York that is called, that is next to Dumbo, you know, but nobody goes there. And it's like, it's so beautiful. There you have like, I don't remember now the name, but it's really next to Dumbo. And Dumbo, it's full of people that goes to see the same scene with the bridge, you know. And if you walk 10 minutes more, you will see this little neighborhood with old houses that is so charming. And I saw this amazing light that I used again the little sketchbook, this time only one part, and I could do it in less than 1 hour. So that was the goal, because the light was vanishing really fast, you know. So this is me going back to my little sketchbooks that I started in the beginning, you know. So I started this process. I started little sketchbook, then I went big and big and big, and then I'm starting to getting smaller again and having fun with these little sketchbooks, just because I don't have so much time to sketch because I was in this time like working on the
Hugo,
story.
I think you have fun sketching, whether it's a big sketchbook or a little sketchbook. You seem to always be having fun.
Yeah, but of course on weekends there was a weekend that I had a lot of time, so I went to the Soho, and I saw this corner. I love corners, so I started sketching, and I did a big panorama, and this one took me like 5 hours
Yeah,
to do. So I did the first part on the left one weekend, and then I went back another weekend to finish the second part of the sketch. So what I do is I sketch the left part on this case, and then on my board, phone board, and then I put then I get the second sheet, and I start drawing on the floor. I get some reference lines, and then I take the left part, and I start only sketching on the right part. At the end I put it again on the floor, and I try to see if there is coherence between both.
yeah.
Okay, and of course this is a huge fisheye because you are looking to different points of view on the left and on the right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So wow, super, super cool.
This was so hard because there was the noise, the cars. It was so hard I have to put some things on my ears because the noise was so unsupportable.
So noisy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I was writing down, trying to keep track of all the sketches, and I thought we had 18, but this seems to be the last sketch. I'm not able to go
Yeah.
anywhere. Is this our
But I
last?
think
Yeah, is this the last one?
I think it's a good way of finishing, no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Hugo. Let's turn our cameras back on. There he is. Well, so that was only 15. But
Mhm.
so I thought we had 18, but it didn't seem to go any further, so that's okay.
I think we got the basic concepts. Okay, we could be
So.
here talking for hours.
Yes, I think people are gonna come away from this interview and think, wow, really inspiring.
That's when I say, I think I told you once, the only difference between me and them is that I have 30 or 40,000 more sketches than the average people. That's the thing. I should have also give you like some old drawings of mine, that would be interesting. That's what I do to my students. I always put, okay, this is my drawing when I was your age, and I say, no, it's
that cut out a bit with sound. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Do you have your books? Are you able to show your books?
I have one here. That is the one in New York.
Okay, and is that available on Amazon?
No, it's not. It was published on the university, and I thought it was not to have.
So are people able to purchase that book?
Yeah, right online on the university site.
Can you just tell me what that URL is?
It's, if you go to my Instagram, you can find it, or to my blog, there is a link. Okay.
And what is this book called?
It's called New York City Graphic Chronicles.
New York City Graphic Chronicles. Cool.
Mm-hmm. It's in Spanish and in English, and it won the prize in Clermont-Ferrand.
What?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, the coup de cœur is not the first prize; it was the second prize of the International Sketchbook.
Very nice. I would like to see that book. I really would. And you had a second book?
Yeah, the second book is totally sold out. The second book is I don't know if I have it here because it's sold out. But that one is a book that I illustrated. So I have someone one day contact me saying I have this book about New York, and I would love you to illustrate it. So he gave me like 12 12 drawings that I want you to do. And I told him, but you have to wait because I only do them on site. I won't do them by picture.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
said, okay, I can wait. And I would go to New York like 6 months after, and he waited. But the funny thing, when he gave me the list, like you have to draw a Chinese restaurant, the street, a particular street in Soho. And I start taking it, and I had done like 6 of them
Oh,
without
wow.
knowing, because I did so many. I did like 400 sketches in 6 months in New York.
Wow. I
Mhm.
want to get that book. I'm going to definitely look that up on your Instagram. New York Graphic Chronicles. Okay, I got it. I'm going to look that up. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming. I just want to let you know that we have some upcoming travel workshops, in-person workshops, very exciting workshops coming up that we still have tickets for. In January, I'm going to be in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, which is on everybody's bucket list, with the wonderful, the amazing Stephanie Bauer, and a workshop in the French Alps with Hazel Sohn in May. And Stephanie also be in Oxford, England in June. And I'm going to be in Niagara on the Lake with Pat Southern Pierce in September. And Niagara on the Lake is a gorgeous, charming little town. It's called the friendliest town in Canada, and it's near where I live. And so we're going to be there in September with Pat Southern Pierce. And I hope that I will have an in-person workshop with the lovely, with the amazing Hugo Costa at some point in the future.
That would be amazing. I would love.
We hope to do that, right, Hugo?
Okay.
And so a lot of people said, thank you, Hugo. That was great, inspiring, motivating. Thank you so much, says Celeste. Great interview. Thank you, Hugo. Great to see you again, says Eileen. Hugo, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. And do you have any closing words, final words that you would like to say to everybody?
Yes, don't stop sketching. That's my I would like to thank you for the interview. It was awesome, and thanks so much for everybody that was here also. And please keep on sketching. That's my final words. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday, everybody. Thank you, Hugo. Goodbye, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We love you.
Bye.
Happy sketching.
Happy sketching. Bye bye. Ciao.